there's a woman, a socialist, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, by the way, can't speak Spanish. I can. She can't. Who now wants to channel a Venezuelan leader's mojo and get rid of the Supreme Court as you know it. This is like right out of the Hugo Chavez playbook. I know it very well. I was trading Venezuelan debt at Goldman Sachs, actually, back in the year that he came to power. And I remember him dissolving the Supreme Court, and we're like, what? Really, what? And yet this is what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is talking about on the floor of the court and put out on her little Twitter thing. We'll get to her tweets in a second. But first, take a peek at this lady who does not deserve the position she has in any way, shape, or form. I'm glad her friend Joaquin, forgive me, no, the other one, Bowman, the fire alarm guy, Bowman, that pulled the fire alarm. Remember, she did this little rally with him. He just got booted out. He didn't even make it through the primary. This is what we need to happen to AOC, but listen to her.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to introduce articles of impeachment against Associate Justices of the Supreme Court Clarence Thomas and Samuel Anthony Alito, Jr. Against Justice Thomas, the resolution includes 3 total articles. 1 count of failure to disclose financial income, gifts, reimbursements, property interest liabilities, and transactions, among other information, and 2 counts of refusal to recuse from matters concerning his spouse's legal and financial interests before the court. The second resolution includes the following impeachment articles against Justice Alito. 1 count of refusal to recuse from cases in which he had a personal bias or prejudice concerning a party before the court, and 1 count of failure to disclose financial incomes, gifts, reimbursements, property interests, among other information.
What a gal. So she's trying to impeach justices on the Supreme Court in a move that is right out of the Venezuelan playbook. She wants to stack it with her peeps and her people because she's so worried. It's really hard to read this. So let me see if I can pull it up on my phone and I'll just walk you through some of the things that she's alleging. I mean, you heard her right there, right? She's talking about the wife. All right. Here's the thing, Ms. AOC feminist that you are. A wife should be able to have her own viewpoints. A wife should be able to express her own viewpoints. A wife should not be beholden to whatever viewpoints her husband may or may not have, right? Like, let me just say this, like as an independent woman, like again, like this party is messed up. You get Nancy Pelosi asking the minority woman, do you speak English? And you get AOC attacking the spouses of Supreme Court justices, trying to impeach them over their spouses. I mean, this is messed up. So here she is going after them with everything she's got, because you know what she's most afraid of, ladies and gentlemen? She's most afraid that they're not going to see the light of day when it comes to Donald Trump. Already, everything they have put forward has gotten shot down. And it's gotten shot down in part because of themselves. They brought forward a bunch of charges that shouldn't have been brought forward. They had extremely partisan, really low-grade prosecutors that were not even up to the job. For goodness sakes, the woman down in Fulton County, little Fanny, kind of got a big Fanny. Big Fanny had some big problems, right? You know, because she took up with the wrong guy. That's going to come back to haunt her. Anyway, you know, looking at what AOC has said here, and we can read from this, I think Drew's going to blow it up on the screen so you can really see it, and I can see it too. Justice Thomas and Alito's repeated failures, she writes, failures over and over again to have, you know, she's alleging that they've received millions of dollars. Look, you know, I'm not going to justify when you go out and you take a speech, et cetera. I mean, we're really careful about that in the news business, actually. Historically, for example, I always reported if I, for example, took a speech from a certain company, I was always very transparent about that and made that very clear. I just felt like that was the right thing to do. I also, as a journalist, actually never used to invest in individual stocks, which is way better than what they're doing in Congress. Thank you very much. Because I felt that that was inappropriate, given that as a business journalist, I was talking about those stocks on the air. In fact, I saw it early in my career. I remember going on and talking about some biotech penny stocks when I was at Bloomberg. And guess what? Those stocks shot up within seconds of me mentioning that. So I'm very aware of the power that one can have, and very, very sort of, even just myself, very guarded about using that. But apparently I'm on a whole other level compared to these schmoes doing what they do, including Nancy and her husband, and all the intel that she gets, by the way. Watch what she's doing in her stock trades. Here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez going on about the Supreme Court. So again, I'm not saying that they should get money from companies and individuals whose cases they're going to decide, right? So let's be clear on that. And they do need to have a little church and state. But to attack the wives, for goodness sakes, quote, the unchecked corruption crisis of the Supreme Court has now spiraled into a constitutional crisis threatening American democracy writ large. Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito's pattern of refusal to recuse from consequential matters before the court, in which they hold widely documented financial and personal entanglements, constitutes a grave threat to the American rule of law, the integrity of our democracy, and the clearest cases for which the tool of impeachment was designed. I'm just sorry, but the personal entanglements to go after the wives is really kind of unacceptable, especially from another woman. Period. Are you to assume then, the AOC, that all of these women are somehow just lockstep with their husbands? I don't think so. And that's the wrong approach to take. Thank you very much. Gosh, I hope we don't become Venezuela. That would be a real disaster now, wouldn't it?